Hi, guys. Welcome to another episode of Health Decoded, where we break down health topics in a clear and practical way so you can actually use the information in your daily life. Today, we're talking about fiber. I know it's not sexy. It doesn't trend on social media, it's not flashy, but as a nurse, I can tell you it's one of the more important and honestly overlooked parts of a healthy diet. I've talked to a lot of people where they honestly get mad at me when I tell them that this is the one thing that they need to really change in their diet to start to see results or to improve their health. And then they're not so mad after a few weeks. So this stuff works. I think fiber is going to start to come for protein. Protein's been the it girl for a little while, and I think fiber is going to be the new it girl here soon. Particularly with all the talk of gut health and everything that we've had for a little bit. So let's get into it. What is fiber and what does it do? Fiber is a type of carbohydrate. It's found in plant foods mostly. Unlike other carbs, your body doesn't fully digest it, and that's important. We're going to break down why. It moves through your digestive system and it supports several key processes along the way. So there's two main types that we're going to talk about or that you'll hear about in general. There's soluble and insoluble fiber. So, soluble fiber dissolves in water and it forms a gel like substance. And this gel like substance is what makes fiber so important. So, we're going to see this kind of continue to reoccur as we talk about this. So, this helps to lower the LDL or the bad cholesterol and slows down how quickly sugar can enter the bloodstream. And you'll find soluble fiber in options like oats, beans, apples, chia seeds. We'll talk more about that at the end. Insoluble fiber does not dissolve in water, and this typically adds bulk both to your stomach, your intestines, but ultimately your stool, and it can help keep your bowel movements regular. It's found in whole grains, vegetables, nuts, seeds. Most plant foods contain a mix of both, and that's exactly what we want. So, digging in a little bit more, why fiber matters. For digestive health, adequate fiber it helps to prevent constipation and it supports a healthy gut microbiome. So, when gut bacteria are well fed, they help regulate digestion, inflammation, and immune function. Fiber aids in this digestion by forming this gel like substance we were talking about. It promotes regularity while also feeding this good gut bacteria, so essentially prebiotic form, and it helps keep digestion healthy. It works like a broom for your gut, so it just sweeps out all the bad waste and helps keep things moving smoothly. Another area that it helps is your heart health. So, soluble fiber has been shown to lower the LDL cholesterol that I was talking about. This can reduce your risk of cardiovascular disease. So, it does this by forming that gel substance, and that binds to cholesterol in the gut and also bile acids. This prevents their absorption but promotes their excretion from your body. And this forces your liver to pull more of the LDL, the bad cholesterol, from your blood and make new bile acids. And so this overall reduces the blood cholesterol. Essentially, it traps the building blocks of cholesterol and it flushes them out and it reduces the total amount in your system. And all of that's really good. A third thing that fiber does is helps control blood sugar. Fiber slows carbohydrate absorption. Again, this gel like substance helps to prevent sharp blood sugar spikes and crashes. This is especially important for people with insulin resistance, diabetes, prediabetes, etc. It also helps with satiety and weight support. So, fiber boosts I was talking about it adds bulk to your system. It also slows down digestion in the stomach. So it creates this feeling of fullness and also impacts the gut hormones, the GLPs that we were talking about in another episode. And it releases compounds that signal to the brain that reduces appetite. And this leads to less eating and feelings of fullness, right? So less eating and more stable energy. So soluble fiber forms the gels, while insoluble fiber adds the bulk, but both stretch the stomach and promote these feelings of fullness. So essentially, fiber keeps you fuller for longer since your gut has to take longer to digest it. In practice, this often means fewer blood sugar dips, less snacking, and better appetite control overall. So, despite these benefits, most adults fall short of the daily recommended amount, which is for females 25 grams per day, and then for males 38 grams per day. So, simple, realistic ways that you can add fiber into your diet. This doesn't need to be complicated. I always tell patients small, consistent changes matter more than big overhauls. You also don't want to start with a lot of fiber all at once because your system will need to adjust to it. So, start with one meal. Maybe with breakfast, you try whole grain toast, or for dinner, you swap your rice for wild rice or quinoa. Add beans regularly if you can tolerate the texture. My mom always hated the texture of beans, but beans and lentils are some of the highest fiber foods available. Add them to soups or salads, or use them like as substitutes, maybe in tacos or something like that. Even half a cup can make a big difference. Choose fiber forward snacks. So think hummus with vegetables, air popped popcorn, yogurt with berries and chia seeds. Berries are particularly good sources of fiber. We'll talk about some specific high fiber fruits and vegetables in a second, but those are particularly good. And then again, increase gradually, both fruits and vegetables. Maybe add an extra serving to your meals that you're already eating, or if you're not eating them at all, go ahead and add it into one of these meals. Frozen vegetables are also a really good option, particularly the flash frozen kind, the ones that you can steam from the freezer or maybe saute. Those are good, but we want them to be more whole. So, high fiber fruits. We talked about berries. Pears and apples are really good. Avocado actually has a lot of fiber. And then dried fruits, like we all know prunes, raisins, they're very concentrated, so be careful with them, but those are really good sources of fiber. High fiber vegetables, cruciferous vegetables. So, broccoli is personally one of my favorites. Cauliflower is a good option, although I have to be careful with her. Greens, leafy greens such as spinach or kale or cabbage, those are good options. Root vegetables are also really solid. So sweet potatoes or potatoes with the skin. When we're eating fruits and vegetables, we want a lot of the fiber sources actually comes from the peel or for the skin. So that's why I say we want to eat them in more of the whole natural form. Carrots are also good. Green beans, corn. I mean, you can look all of these up. There's some really good options out there. Find what you like and add it in. Don't choose something that you don't want to eat because you want to add this in naturally so that you actually take it in. So, the important nursing tip that I'm going to give you is to go slow. A sudden jump can cause a lot of GI discomfort, bloating, cramping, gas. Increase it slowly over days, weeks, and make sure you're drinking enough water when you do this. Fiber and hydration go hand in hand because fiber absorbs water, so we want to make sure that we're keeping our hydration up. And I always want to make this disclaimer whenever I'm talking about any of this material. These are suggestions. If you have digestive issues or you've been advised to limit your fiber, always follow your guidance of your healthcare practitioner, okay? Don't let what I say overshadow what has been directly advised to you by your practitioner, okay? So, key takeaways from today. Fiber may not be exciting, but it is foundational. It supports digestion, heart health, blood sugar stability. Increasing your fiber in your diet can really help your overall picture of health and ultimately any weight loss goals if you have any. You don't need to overhaul your diet. Start small and build from there. That's how sustainable health happens, okay? If this episode was helpful for you, share it with someone who could benefit. If you have questions, please always leave a comment, like, subscribe, and as always, thanks for listening, guys. I'll see you next time.